Good morning, my fellow yogic travelers. I'm mighty glad to be alive today, and I hope that you are too as we continue to live, laugh, love, learn, linger, and live the life we love. I've been starting for the last week or two for my friends who think I have too much toxic positivity. So we want to make sure that we give a balanced approach here with the disconfirming, the disappointing affirmations. And let's start off this week with this one. Stop worrying about what other people think. I mean, have you met other people? They're awful. So take that one with you. Monday, it's always my poetry day, and this is from Jalaluddin Rumi, one of my favorite mystic poets. It's called Work in the Invisible. The prophets have wondered to themselves. Oh, there's a call coming in. The prophets have wondered to themselves, how long should we keep pounding this cold iron? How long do we have to whisper into an empty cage? Every motion of created beings comes from the Creator. The first soul pushes and the second soul responds, beginning. So don't stay timid. Load the ship and set out. No one knows whether for certain the vessel will reach the shore, reach the harbor. Cautious people say, I'll do nothing till I can be sure. Merchants know better. If you do nothing, you lose. Don't be one of those merchants who won't risk the ocean. This is so much more important than making money. This is your connection to God. You must set fire to have light. Trust means you're ready to risk what you currently have. Think of your fear and hope about your livelihood. They make you go to work diligently every day. Now consider what the prophets have done. Abraham wore fire for an anklet. Moses spoke to the sea. David molded iron. Solomon rode the wind. Work in the invisible at least as hard as you do in the visible. Be a companion with the prophets, even though no one here will know that you are. Not even the helpers. You can't imagine what prophet will come. When one of those generous ones invites you into the fire, go quickly. Don't say, will it burn? Will it hurt? All right, so for the journal people, or the elevating the consciousness conversation people, or the people who want to beckon back to me, I want to focus today on a sensory awareness kind of exercise for you to do. And then you can write about it to expand it and wax eloquent when you write about it. But pick one of your senses, something I used to do for my college students when they were first getting into yoga. Sensitize yourself. Don't be just lost in your head. Pick something visually, let's say one day. Notice everybody's shoes, or notice people's earrings, or notice people's outfits. Or if it's with your ear, notice the bird sounds, or the honking of the car, or the fire engine, or the jet, or the sound of the wind, or whatever it is, it doesn't matter. But pick one of the senses and use it as a way of bringing your awareness back to the moment, the present. Waking up if you've been lost, drifting, distracted, in your head, as we would say. Sensate experience gets you into the moment, and then let your brain register everything, just like in yoga. Let the mind put the spin on it afterwards, but be directly in the experience of your sensate awareness. All right, so my teacher says a number of different C's. We could use any letter to make alliteration here, but we're going to use C for today, the letter C. Confidence comes from having done it yourself. You practice yoga, and then you know. Clarity comes from being clear on what you know from your practice. Compassion comes from feeling what others must be going through, because you understand everybody who practices brings up different stiffnesses, pains, obstructions, and now you understand, you could say, the universal aspect of what you're going through. Everyone's going through it. And then you have to be clever. You have to invite variety and modifications into your practice. If you're going to keep it going from decades and not be bored, not have monotony about your practice and the things you have to repeat, you got to have cleverness or variety. And then ultimately, there's courage. You got to be bold to keep this up over time, even in the face of apparent failures or the time it takes, called parinama, the transformations over time, which may make you feel dejected or impatient, or maybe even think it'll never happen. So you have to learn to ignite this fire within you to create further interest, because the more you do it, the brighter the flame is going to be. So that's up to you. Now, I like to talk about the archetype of the trickster energy. It's one of those aspects of ourself that creates disenchantment with the idealizing projections. You see through pomposity, grandiosity, and bullshit in the wrong kind of leadership, in the shadow leadership, in the false. And this is the part of your psyche that's dominated in a certain way by comedy and deconstructionism. Everything is a joke. Nothing deserves to be taken seriously, but of course then there's nothing to revere. So you have to find a balance to not letting your trickster go on automatic with everything. But it uses exaggeration and oversimplification to make its point. Very, very important to have that bullshit detector inside you so you know the truth from what's false. Now, my Sufi teachers are mystics, and therefore they're always trying to help you reconcile the irreconcilables. So even just saying it that way sounds like it's a paradox that'll never happen. But in the literature, this is called the conjunctio oppositorum, the marriage of opposites, the hieros gamas, the sacred marriage. And what it does is, it's not just bonding you to another human being or your teacher. It isolates you in the solitude of spirit, in the solitude of unity, where everything is one, and apparent individuation takes a back seat to the fact of everyone being connected. So if you're always seeking something outside of yourself, forgetting that the answers can only be found within. So one of the things we say is, instead of identifying with your social role, your persona in the world, how about identifying with your electromagnetic field, your aura, which has no boundaries, and is the ultimate radiance of your own bioluminescence. I love that word. The photic experience, that we are all light-filled beings, and that is in a field surrounding us, that we are within that field, as well as that field is within us. So even if you have to imagine this at the beginning, that you're surrounded by it, and it suffuses everything, pervades everything, like the Force in Star Wars. All right, and knowing that, then you move into, how do I use all life experience to affirm life and unity? Well, first, understand that contrast serves you. You have things that happen in your life that you don't want, and the clarity of your own desire summons the source energy to respond to you, instead of staying stuck looking at things that are not wanted in your life. Then you have to learn to allow it or let it in, and stop resisting the benefits which supposedly you've been asking for. Don't do that. Then accept once and for all that the material plane is objectified thought. Your thoughts will out and picture themselves on the screen of space as condition, event, and circumstance, if you keep repeating things with faith, expectation. So first, I want to give you acceptance and acknowledgement for whatever it is that you're feeling. We're not trying to dismiss this. You don't need a license or a permit to hold the feelings that you do, okay? But there are natural consequences that follow upon your body-mind. That's called karma. So once you understand that you're responsible for what you're putting out, how long can any one of us hold on to negativity? So, to the leadership one in you, whether you're leading yourself or you're leading other people, focus on how you supervise and how you use effectiveness in your language. How are your own habits and skills effective in moving things forward or inspiring people, as I said before, right? You delegate, they innovate. And the best way to do it is to frequently, sincerely, and deeply praise all the people who you work with. Have a great day.